I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Allison. Roll call.
Nick Reebok,
Here.
Joe Boyd,
Here.
Kathy Brooks. Here. Aaron Kinder.
Here.
Kevin Kelly. Here. Lynn Norris.
here,
All right, the first item on our agenda is our consent agenda item, which includes the minutes from the last meeting and the financial reports for the status of our finances and payment of bills. Did anybody have any questions on the minutes or the treasurer's reports? There was a corrected treasurer's report sent out. So I think everybody should have had time to take a look at that this afternoon. Okay, if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. A motion and a second. Any last questions? Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder.
Yes.
Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Lynn Norris.
yes,
Okay, well, that carried. Reports from myself. First of all, I would like to thank the Halloween committee, Lori Peterson and Susan Osborne. And also thank all the organizations and businesses that went together for the trunk or treat that we had Saturday. I have not heard counts yet, but I've heard it was very successful again this year. And well done by all the organizations and businesses and well attended by the citizens. And so I want to thank those two for organizing Halloween. I also want to thank the residents that put up Halloween decorations this year. It was kind of fun to drive around town and see those again. So big thanks go out. Second, the last meeting I reported I would be contacting one of the solar companies to get information. I've made that contact and we'll be getting together some of our power consumption history and then meeting with them to go over that and see whether or not solar might be a viable option for us. Third, I'm going to pass this around just for the trustees to take a look at. It's a calendar that I've started for events for myself, for the trustees, and for Sarah and Allison. And just reminders of things that we have to do on a monthly or not monthly, but on a quarterly or annual basis. I think it'll help us from having certain things slide. Lynn, I'll send you a copy so you can take a look at it. One of the things I've got on there is the renewal for the garbage contract. You know, when do we have to start looking at that? The types of things that can slide that that aren't front and center as far as when we conduct a regular business. So you think things like that are worthwhile maintaining? I think it could be a help to us. So just take a look at that. I'll send it out and we'll see if we want to adapt it next meeting. Okay, next item I have is the status of the DCO and McLean County grants. We have not heard from DCO, so it's still at the second level for approval. McLean County grants, I don't know if we've spent any additional of that money in the last month or not, but we have the money. How much have we used so far, Sarah? Do you recall?
Of the county ARPA?
Yeah.
About 35,000.
35.
30 to 35 in that ballpark range.
So we're a little over half, or about half used, because it was 65,000. So, and like we can see, drainage projects all over town. You know, we're getting pieces fixed, so that's good to see progress, Danny. The next item I have is sewer status from Greg. I got a text message from Greg this evening. He is in an airport. His plans to fly back this afternoon and be here tonight got postponed and then canceled. So we can thank United for not having a VCA report tonight. Greg will contact me and we'll try and have a meeting in a couple of weeks with them. I'll invite Kathy and the other trustees, but I'll make sure at least Kathy can be there. So we have no report from Grady tonight. I sent to the trustees a copy of a tentative intergovernmental agreement with the township for sharing equipment. Joe had a question on the wording on the expenses. What happens if property is damaged? And I think Pat gave us a good answer on that. And so I also have sent it to the township for their review. I don't know if we had enough time to really review it. We just got it Friday or so. So I will put it on our agenda for December for a vote. Did anybody have any questions on the intergovernmental agreement? And we've got a great working relationship with the township, but it's probably a real good idea to have an agreement so that if equipment breaks, we know who's gonna fix it. So,
As long as it doesn't spoil our working relationship with the township.
I don't think it will. I think it's,
We've got a really good one.
you know, when you talk to attorneys, and the township's attorneys also, they highly recommended that we try and work one out. So-
Like I said, we've got such a good one, I hate
Yep.
to spoil it.
And this could make it better. So,
That would be good.
okay, if anybody has questions on that, make sure you let me know, and I'll put it on the agenda for December. Also want to let the trustees know that I attended a McLean County Disaster Committee meeting. This is the group that plans disasters for McLean County and gets county and different police agencies involved. They have one every 3 years out at the airport where they stage major problems, maybe airplane crash, or they have some at ISU where they stage different types of things. That's the function of this group. They also had one last summer, a couple months ago, out at Camp Laurel Lake that the Hudson Dive Team was involved with. And
You have a dive team?
Hudson has yes, we have a dive team. It is officially a MABUS 41, MABUS being mutual aid box system. But anyway, yes, we do.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I plan to go again. I did find out there are annual dues for the towns that participate of about $50 a year. And so eventually we will be getting a bill for that. And I think Mark Cotty was very involved with it when he was with the Village of Normal. And so I think this could be a good thing. We could possibly stage a disaster out in Hudson, over the next couple of years. You never know what could happen.
That
So,
could be fun.
yeah. So,
Sorry.
okay. Next on is water, public property, streets.
Water usage, 91,000 and change, 2.8 million for the month. And I just talked to Sarah, I think yesterday, and we had very good matchups on when the city of Bloomington read and when we read our meters, and I think we were at 8% loss. So that's good. There was a kind of a problem / leaking fire hydrant we replaced at the cemetery this last month. Did another inlet here at Walnut Street, another inlet clean out manhole at the ballpark. The dog fence, basically all the poles are set, and we're starting to work on stringing up the fence. So that is well underway. Dave kind of touched on the trunk or treat. I think Susan and Lori do a great job. And I guess we had talked in past year, and I just kind of assumed it was going to be fine. And Kathy manned the candy bowl for us. And we cleaned up the outside of the back truck anyway to have that over there to kind of show that. But I also wanted to mention something about, I think in last year maybe, and I think we talked about doing it this year, and as Bobby's here of donating something to help the Holly Jolly Christmas, which I think is a great thing. I think the Halloween trunk or treat thing seems to be going well too. And I wondered if, maybe come next budget season, we ought to write that down as to kind of plan on at least. I supplied the candy this year. I forget how we did it last year. Not a big deal to me, but something maybe we should think more about for them maybe next year. I know they haven't come and asked us for anything, and they get some donations from community businesses. So I just wanted to get that out to everybody. The MFT is the big thing, and not sure if Patrick has just joined us, it sounds like. So the MFT program, which I hope that you all got that from Phil, sent that out. So this year is basically no big projects like we did on South Street and Valentine this year. It's the same projects we've been doing. Concrete sidewalk replacement, which I'm probably not going to get that done for this year, because for the last 3 weeks, there's been a concrete shortage. It's been hard to get concrete. So that's kind of coming on the downturn side of being able to get that done. I have got some of the bad panels done, but as far as any major blocks, not sure I'll be able to make it to that. Then the skim patching, which is where we put the hot mix asphalt kind of on the shoulders where the garbage trucks tend to make depressions. That's on that MFT list. The cover sealing is back on the list, which those places in the past several years that we've done the hot mix on the shoulders, we'll cover seal the whole road to kind of seal that in. And then possibly fog coat the cover sealing, which is the process that is new to us this year, not new to Patrick. He recommended that to us for what was the final step on Valentine and Havens, which I think looks really nice. So those things are all on the list as things we can do and spend up to those amounts. If we kind of, as a reminder, if we don't get to them, or if we actually go out and mark the spots, it ends up being a little less, then that's all fine with the program. But Patrick likes to help get me motivated to get that done earlier so we can get the best bids and prices for getting those things done. So if you have any questions for Patrick, or Patrick, if you'd like to jump in.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was unable to hear you guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Patrick, I just went over the program of we're going to do the skim patching, the sidewalk repair, cover sealing, and fog coat. We put all those things down as options we have to do. If we decide at the last minute we're not going to do those, or to a lesser dollar figure, we can do that. I don't have areas to do all those processes out there in the town. I don't have them all specifically marked yet at this time. And then I mentioned that you like to get an early start to get the best bid and the contractors locked in and get the program signed up as early as possible.
Absolutely. I would totally reiterate everything you said, Denny. And I can tell you, board, that Denny is very proactive, and he is correct that we do try and get this out early for the best prices possible, and get this through the state and IDOT, and then get that back so we are ready to hit the ground running. So I appreciate all the cooperation this past relationship, and this is definitely going in the right direction. We do have needs out there throughout the village where we want to do this skim patching, and Denny and I have been able to nail those locations down and meet with the contractor and get that good price. So I would again give the accolades all to Denny for being proactive on this. I can answer any questions.
Just something that popped up in my mind, why, Patrick, you're kind of the starter of this that I passed on, was the right-of-way ordinance that we talked about. Is that on your, Kathy, on your agenda?
Not this month.
Okay.
It's gonna be, we can get with Pat.
Okay, so I think maybe Pat McGrath is helping us maybe get some of that in the ordinance form to get it adopted, but I didn't know if anybody had any questions for you, Patrick, about the right-of-way ordinance. I think I kind of talked about that a year or so ago, but that just popped back into my mind.
I can just say a few words on it if you don't mind.
That's fine with me.
So the right-of-way ordinance is something I'm in about 15 to 17 different municipalities and townships, and it's something that I've tried to promote in all of those areas, just because utility companies have come in, and many, Ameren, some of the gas companies are doing a lot of the main replacements throughout town, and fiber optics have been on a really big kick now and going through town, and having something like this right-of-way ordinance helps protect you as the village and the taxpayers. And essentially what it does is we try to make it so that when a utility comes into town and does digging on their right-of-way, on our right-of-way, then it's not, they just don't leave town and leave us with a bunch of holes that the taxpayers have to fix. So this really asserts the responsibility to that utility company, and it has helped tremendously in making sure that the utility companies do what they're supposed to do, mainly through money. I mean, they have to put up some type of financial surety, and they do not get released from that financial surety until everything is taken care of. So I would commend you all for at least even entertaining this right-of-way ordinance. And I can tell you concretely from my own experience for the past 10 years with this right-of-way ordinance, it is a game changer in as far as what the utility companies, the kind of respect that they will give a municipality as they come through town.
Does anybody have any other questions for Patrick, or are we gonna do a motion now to move forward with the MFT, or are we gonna do that under somebody's?
Let's go ahead and do it now. We're on the topic of it. Does the board have any questions on the proposal on the MFT for next fiscal year?
To approve the resolution.
Okay,
Resolution for the MFT funds submitted by.
I'll second.
okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the MFT. Any final questions? Roll call?
Joe Boyd, Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder.
Yes.
Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Liz Norris.
Yes.
Patrick,
Anybody, any final questions for Patrick?
I have a comment for Denning. Thank you for running the. Everybody really enjoyed it. And
That's
you need to explain to me more about the back truck because people ask
asking you
questions.
questions. I didn't think about that angle. All right, we're putting you on the spot on those questions.
I didn't live.
I do have a couple more topics if I. Last month, we talked about the fill valve over there in the office and kind of the water system and incorporating SCADA, and I think we passed a certain amount. We have that. Well, I had some more time to about that. The valve guys as well as the SCADAware guys had mentioned that you probably should have an engineer look over this and see if there's anything else that we're overlooking or anything like that. Well, I was of course concerned, as this is a single point of failure, if when we were trying to make the changeover, somebody overlooked a nut or a bolt or a wire or something, and now all of a sudden we can't get things to work and we need water and we don't have that. So I called Patrick, and Patrick has a friend that me in touch with, and I've had him here a couple times now kind of going over what we do, and had a meeting today that everybody was able to attend. Dave was able to come up, and we had our water supplier, Core and Main, a valve rep there, the SCADAware representative there, as well as Andy. As well as Andy, the engineer that's Patrick's friend, and we came up with kind of a better way to make that transition where we basically install the new valve and computer system, keeping the existing system there until we can test the new system to make sure that it works, and then take out the old valves. So I'm getting some new pricing. We're also adding a few other things that was suggested by Andy and SCADAware and the valve folks to, as far as when we ever need to maybe take the tank down to flush it out, or if we were to ever put a stirrator in it, or any other maintenance we may need to do on the tank or anything, by putting these other transducers and pressure sensors and things like that in the system, which were all kind of minor costs, but they were additional costs. So I'm hoping next month I'll have more of a final plan and final cost. And a lot of these components are 16 to 18 weeks out, as far as if we ordered any of those right now. That was a question I did have for Joe when I was talking to him this afternoon, if that's appropriate to maybe order some of those parts now, since we did approve some of that, or if you guys would feel more comfortable if I get everything all together before we even order the first piece. Joe, would you like to?
It sounds like it won't be significantly more. So I think we approved like 15,000. And Denny's point is, instead of waiting a month to order some of this stuff, if we can maybe order the big pieces that have a long delay time, as soon as he figures out exactly what it is. And then maybe in December, maybe we need a couple more thousand for a couple additional transducers or something. But it's still gonna be well under 20,000 probably. So we approved 15. So that's what he suggested doing, was that if he could go ahead and order some of that stuff with the money we already allocated in December, we'll allocate a little bit more. Does anybody have any problem with that or any questions about that? Or
I'd be happy when I get the quotes to email it out to everybody. And then if individually you want to let me know if you approve that, I guess that maybe wouldn't violate any meetings.
Open meetings,
Yeah.
violation. You can send out the information and we've already improved. I thought it was 20,000 in the minutes.
I think it was 20,000.
Oh, was it really 20?
It's,
Oh, well,
Approved up to
They
20,000
approved
for
more than
this,
what you thought you
so.
would need.
I'll let everybody know and then,
There are parts that take 18 weeks that are less than the 20,000, and we know we're gonna have those parts regardless of the final design.
Yeah.
Like the valve replacement.
Yeah.
Order them.
the two main things that are gonna be the lead time are the actual SCADA program box and the valve. Some of the other miscellaneous smaller parts that connect those two things together, those are on the store shelf, so to speak. So rather we went with the old design or the new design, those two components are the lead time items, and those are common to both options. So I'll send them to you guys, and then Joe can just let me know to move with that, or
okay.
if that's fine. I have one last person I'd like to thank, and I think as the season is coming to an end for painting, and that's our I think I spoke as maybe my personal village hero. Mr. White, if you could come up here a second. I asked some of you and got consensus to this, is that as a token for sure of my appreciation and of the village as well, the citizens that all have commented to me and to the board, as well as on Facebook and things like that, how much a lot of effort, which may be a little that you seem to contribute to us, is appreciated so much by the community, and the simple token of making the fire hydrants, freshen them up, kind of brightens up the community, brightens up everyone's spirit. So I want to be able to give you something as a thank you for doing that on behalf of all the citizens, the village board, and definitely for myself, as you've taken a huge workload off of us by you whittling away at that over the course of the summer. And Sarah helped me come up with a design. So anyway.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim. All right, does anyone have any questions for Denny? A lot going on, so thanks for everything you're involved with, Danny, keeping the town going. Our next report is from our village marshal, Mark Cuddy. Mark is not here tonight, so Chris is gonna fill in. Chris?
I don't have much of a report here. Mark's kind of wanted me to hit on some things we did this past month. Well, Halloween night went very well. We were able to see a lot of kids were out. This was my first Halloween working Hudson, so it was very nice. I loved it. In the process of that, we were able to hand out some glow sticks and stickers and stuff like that. The kids really seemed to enjoy it. Trunk or treat, obviously Denny hit on, went very well. Huge success. Tons of people came out. Again, handed out glow sticks as well. We are continuing to run radar, specifically North and South Broadway, East and West Franklin Street, hitting those as hard as we can. Last Friday, I know a lot of people probably more south of town noticed that they were missing some power. 3 light poles went down at the corner. It started at the corner of West and McLean. A tree went down, hit a wire. Well, the wire pulled down 3 other poles and just snapped. I was working. I literally just drove by I was at West and Fulton. I just drove by there not even 30 seconds before my dispatch called me. So 30 seconds before, I would have had a light pole smashed on top of the squad car, which would have been nice. Hate to call the chief and let him know that. So, but Amber was called out. The street department guys came out. We put up they put up some barricades. Denny and Chief Cotty went out and did some Julie locates for Ameren as well. So we're able to get the power back on. I don't know what, do you know what time that was? Get back on?
Somebody said shortly after midnight.
Okay,
It seemed
okay.
pretty fast.
Yeah, it seemed pretty quick. They were pretty Johnny on the spot as soon as we got them out there. So, and that's pretty much all I have.
Now, power's on between 12 or between midnight and 2, I know.
Okay, that's what I read on Hudson Happenings. I just didn't know exactly what time that was.
So,
We called them out. It happened about, it was about 5:30 is when it happened. So,
yep, so we appreciate everybody's effort in that, getting the traffic handled and making people safe when to put down power lines.
oh yeah, they were still live, so they had to cut them off. So I blocked one intersection and Chief Cotty blocked another, and then Denny brought out some barricades, stuff like that to block off streets.
So does anybody have any questions? If not, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Next is Civil Defense Director Jeff Thomas, and he's at the fire meeting tonight. Our next is our citizens hearing. We have a 5-minute limit. Who signed up?
It's Bobby.
Just Bobby? Bobby, we need you to state your name and address before you start, so.
Bobby Dickin, 701 Pettit Drive.
Who?
Here. Who?
Yeah.
I'm the Christmas guy. Nikki and I had sent an email off earlier this morning to Dave. This is actually, I really don't have much to talk about. I'm just following up to see if the board had taken any consideration making a donation towards the Holly Jolly Hudson efforts this year. I don't know, Dave, if you have that email or not to read, but the gist of it was saying that if the board would be considered putting in some money towards it. I know we spoke on this before. We want to get some commercial grade lights for the trees in the park. We have a tree company that's willing to hang those for us. But we want to get some decent lights that are going to last several years. So that's going to cost a little bit more than just the regular box store stuff. As well as the safety fence, because we talked about wanting to make sure everything was more fenced in this year. And also some more electrical cords, that possibility with the safety fence and the electrical cords that Denny could use those for other purposes throughout the year, obviously, but not just in December. So that was our goal, depending on what you guys considered, if that was a possibility. So.
Unfortunately, I don't think any of us put on the agenda to vote on tonight, but I think that without trying to put word in anybody's mouth, what do the trustees think about donating for this? Do they think we're gonna do it again?
Didn't we donate $500 last year?
I think so, yes.
I think that's a reasonable amount to donate.
Okay, we good with that? All right, we'll do that. We'll put it on next month's bills to approve it formally next month. So count on 500 from the village then.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. And we appreciate you and Nikki coordinating this, because I think a lot of people had a lot of fun last year out there.
Yeah.
So.
We got a little more help this year. So
Yes, and so one thing you need to change is make sure it doesn't, we don't have everything frozen in the ground. You know, when we wound up.
Our biggest thing this year was we're gonna get everything out of there before the first of the year. So before all the deep freeze. So that's the big goal. So a lot of our issue last year was the stakes were stuck in the ground.
So, okay, we'll take care of that. Thank you, Bobby.
On the budget for parks, We have already allocated Christmas decorations of $500. Is this for them or is this some sort of purchase?
We put that in, if I remember right, Denny, we put it in so that if we decided to donate, it was already in the budget and we could do that under saying that. Unless Denny had decorations, things you need for the light, for the snowflakes, other than that.
I'm
that's
happy to
there.
turn the decorating over to them.
So if it's already in the
So it's already in the
budget,
budget.
we don't actually have to do anything, just. Thank you.
I remember us talking about it.
I remember it last year.
Oh, I thought we did. I couldn't remember whether. we got a
But I
line.
noticed that we upped it to 500
Okay,
for 20
great.
years, so.
Okay. When you make notes about the budget for next year, trying to remember to put some in for Easter candy. Danny, I want you to turn your bills in for reimbursement for whatever you spent out of your pocket for Easter candy. And the village will reimburse Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm getting. I stop here. Yeah, don't spend it on Easter. Okay, there was nobody else on the citizens hearing. Okay, we'll move on then. Lynn, welcome back. Do you have anything for finance, budget, contracts?
I don't have anything new to discuss this month. Next month, I'm currently working, as I kind of get back in the swing of things, a new group health renewal plan. I'm talking to an LED light manufacturer at the end of this week that I sent an email to everybody about. So if anybody, some people expressed interest in it. So if you have any specific questions you want me to ask, email me, let me know. And then I'll be getting back in the swing with the HR manual to get that finished up. So that will be hopefully next month.
Sounds good. Who are you looking at? Did I understand you correctly? You're looking at new health insurance?
It's with the same company, but we're up for renewal, I guess. So we're getting some new quotes for whatever our options are right now.
Okay,
His recommendation, because the rates increased so much with the company we're with, our agent's recommendation, he was emailing Lynn and I, was to look at different options, to look at all the options across the board to see what the village's best plan would be. So he's
Okay.
working on that and getting it back to Lynn. So,
okay. And that's also the type of thing that we could put on a calendar so that when it comes up due again in 2 years, we know it's coming and we would want to start our review before it was actually due.
yeah, he actually every year emails us right now, like November, and then goes through it with us. Typically, it's just
Oh,
this year was such a large increase that he felt we needed to look at other things.
So it is an annual renewal.
It's an annual renewal,
Okay.
yes. Mhm. But this year it had an increase, so that's why he's offering, he wanted us to look at different plans. So that's why I sent him on to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Lynn, you have anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Lynn? All right. Next is street department Phil, who's not here tonight, and we took care of the MFT for next year. Denny, was there anything else under streets? I think that's what Phil wanted to make sure we talked about, so. We'll move on to ordinance and zoning. Kathy?
Okay, I'd like to take care of the introduction and swearing in of our a prospective new planning commission member, Brad Lane. If you would like to step up to the podium, please. Mr. Lane has volunteered to join the planning commission, so we will have a full roster. Does anybody have any questions for him?
I think we have to vote him in first, don't we?
That would make sense.
I know.
Let's go ahead and make a vote.
Let's go ahead and do a vote. I nominate Brad Lane for the planning commission.
And I second that.
Okay, any questions, discussion? Not Allison?
One point of order, Dave, you actually make the nomination and the board approves your nomination. So I don't assume you have an objection because you didn't speak up, but you should probably indicate for the record that you're nominating him and the board's vote would be to approve your nomination.
Okay, I am making a recommendation to the board, I'm nominating Brad Lang to be the fifth member on the planning commission. And after that, we'll entertain a motion and a vote.
And I think you could consider the vote that was made essentially an approval. I just wanted to get on the record your nominations. So if Kathy worded it in a way, I'm okay with the standing motion.
I did not catch what
And
that.
he says the standing motion is fine, we just have to
Oh,
finish
okay.
voting. But you had to be the one to do the recommendation.
Okay,
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Thank you, Pat. So, okay, so we haven't had the vote, though. Allison, go ahead and do the roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Pender.
Yes.
John Kelly.
Yes.
Lynn Morris.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I, Brad Lane,
I, Brad Lane,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
that
States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Planning Commission member
the duties of Planning Commission
to the
member
best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Brad. You got a good group of people to work with.
There's two of them in the room. I wouldn't fill their heads too much.
All right, the only other item I have on my agenda is to review and vote on the ordinance amending the penalty provision. This is the ordinance we discussed last month. The one basically throwing all the penalties to the 1B5 or 5B or. Do you remember the number of the original, Pat?
The number of the original,
At 2?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Kathy.
Said what were they amending to because of the, basically, penalties were in.
It's a-
E, I believe, is what it was, and this ordinance basically is throwing these other sections back to that for penalties.
Yeah, your general penalty section. Hold on, I'll put the ordinance in front of me and I can tell you where that is in the code.
But the ordinance lists all the ones that are ordinances that are changed.
Two different places here. Give me just a second.
I had that memorized. Sorry, everybody.
You need a minute, or do you want us to bring it up next month?
I'll have it in 30 seconds, Dave. Your general penalty is Title I, Chapter 4. So 141 of your code is your general penalty provision. 141A1, technically.
141. 14181,
Yep, you got it.
throwing it all into that penalty provision in the first chapter. Or title. And I'd like, anybody have any questions on it?
Do you have a copy by chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's grab that up.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance to amend multiple titles back to the penalty provision in 1-4-181.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend multiple ordinances. Allison, did you get all the numbers you needed for the minutes?
I'm hoping it's on there.
I'll write it on there.
Okay, are there any final questions or discussion? Not roll call?
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder,
Yes.
Kevin Kelly,
Yes.
Lynn Norris.
Yes.
Don't check my spelling.
Okay, Kathy, we also discussed changing the ordinance that says when we have our monthly meetings, that includes a location.
That is correct. I apologize. I did not put that on my agenda. I have a brand new baby granddaughter. She was born on Thursday. And Friday and Saturday's emails are in la la land at this point. I will get to them as soon as I can. And that I realized that when I checked it yesterday, that ordinance was in there. I would have presented it then. I would present it on December. But basically what the ordinance does for everyone else is it just changes, 4 words, I believe, 4 or 5 words. Because the original ordinance states that the meetings are supposed to be held at the library. And what the ordinance does is just delete that so that we can hold the meeting wherever it's posted.
Okay, thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Have anything else? Anybody have questions for Kathy? If not, we'll move on to police department. Kevin?
Yeah, I don't have much. I just want to thank Chris for filling in for Mark in his absence. I want to thank you for the report. And also, Mark and Chris and we met and we kind of gather together some stats that would be, I think, more meaningful to kind of as metrics to measure our activity in our police department. So Mark and I were trying to get together some of that when we have more information and we can show and I'm also going to meet with the board members in the next month too and get their input and hopefully have something available to show by the first of the year. So and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have questions for Kevin? Okay, we'll move on to public property. I'm sorry, water, Joe.
I don't have anything, Jenny already covered it all.
Okay. Then we'll move on to public property. Aaron?
The only real thing I've got, I've reached out and got up with the Kickapoo to fill in the well there. They're supposed to give me a call back and schedule it, but they said they will have it done by the end of the year, for sure. That quote was $3,000. We had discussed in the last meeting that we'd look, Sarah and I would look through the budget and find the additional funds and where it was going to come out of. So we're looking at transferring $600 out of our ballpark and scoreboard line item over to our maintenance grounds to be able to take care of that cost. But hopefully by the end of the year, that should be taken care of. So I'd like to make a motion to transfer $600 from our baseball park and scoreboard line item over to our maintenance and grounds line item.
Did you see the second line?
Yeah,
Cover the dog park.
we'll blame Sarah for now.
Yes, I did see that earlier
Aaron and I
today. That's
talked
not
about it earlier today.
Okay, so this is to cover the,
It's to cover the well. It's still out of the same line item. Yeah, it just.
okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to transfer $600 to the maintenance grounds to cover the cost of the well. It's got to be plugged. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We have any last questions or discussion? If not, Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder.
Yes.
Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Lynn Norris.
Yes.
I think the only other thing I had is I'm gonna be setting up meetings here soon to go over the baseball schedule for next year. So we've got a few different entities, I think 3 or 4 different entities that are wanting to use it for next year. So we're gonna set up a meeting to kind of start running through that schedule of when the field's gonna be available. So hopefully we'll have more on that next month. That's all I got.
All right, anybody got questions for Aaron? Thank you, Aaron. All right, next is the elector commissioner report. I have nothing to report. We have nothing on the agenda to go into closed session, so we won't be doing that. Last call for any additional items for business.
I just have, just quick, if you wanna run for reelection, packets are at the Waterhouse. There's 5 trustee spots open. I think 2 years and 3 4 years, is that correct?
Yeah.
No. And they have to be to me like December 12th, I think, the week of the 12th. And I'll take care of the rest.
I was just gonna say, I am not running for reelection. But if you need somebody because there's not insufficient people, I would accept an appointment until someone was found. And so you can have a full board.
Well, thank you for that. That'd be awesome. And I hope the rest of you all seriously think about doing it. We've got a good board, we have good discussions, and we've got a lot going on, so it'll be good. And it's good to know that we got an ace in the hole.
Well, I'm out. I keep things interesting.
Okay, I don't know who's interested in running. I hope all of you, think about it and do it, because you guys have been great trustees, so.
Can we also put something in the quill too that?
Yeah, we
You wanna do
should.
that?
We should put something in the quill. I'll work on something and, or Allison, you wanna put something together?
Sure.
Okay. Packets are available at Waterhouse. Okay, anybody else have anything for the meeting? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion to adjourn. Second,
Second.
Allison, roll call?
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder.
Yes.
Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Lynn Norris.
Yes.
Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.